Yes?
Have you got any of those bars of toffee with almonds in it, missus?
Almond toffee?
Yes, them in the jar down there look like it.
Don't know if it's almonds. Is this what you want?
That's nut cluster.
That's all I've got with nuts. Do you want it or don't you?
No,
No what?
don't try very much.
Hey, you put them things back.
Hey, up then. What's the hurry? Been shopping at Mrs. Dale's, have you? What'd you buy? Oh, come on, you look like satisfied customers to me. What have you got in your pockets? And how much did you pay for it?
We've done nothing.
That's not answering the question, lad.
We bought some sweets, that's all.
Oh, how much did you pay for them?
24p, I think.
You rich young fellas that don't notice how much you spend. Let's see if Mrs. Dale remembers, shall we?
Mr. Parrish, so you caught the little blighters.
What happened, love?
I saw them stuffing their pockets with bars from them trays. I tried to stop them, but... Oh, Mr. Parrish, I'm right fed up. I can't earn a living because of these thieving kids. They're terrible. They take advantage of old uns like me because I can't move as fast as them.
I know, love, I know.
What's the matter with the parents, I'd like to know? Don't they teach them any kind of decency these days?
Come on, turn your pockets out. Come on. They pay for any of this, Mrs. Dale?
Did they? Heck.
Right. We'll sort this out down the station. Call them in the act, Mum. Bang to rights as you were.
There is no putting them before a court for stealing goods valued at £1 8p, George, not first-timers.
Oh, no, we mustn't criminalise them, must we? That'd never do.
Let's not get bitter and twisted, George. We don't wave the big stick at 10-year-olds. We wave it at their parents.
With respect, Mum, it's not the parents who plunder people like Mrs. Dale. It's these thieving kids. They make a life of misery and cost her a packet. Now, maybe we should make an example of one or two.
No, it's just not on, George. Mrs. Dale will simply have to protect her stock better, that's all. She leaves it wide open.
What, it's not right, is it? Having to run a corner shop like it was Fort Knox. Right, I'll get the parents down then.
Know anything about them?
I know the father of one of them, Tommy Wilson. He's all right. Likely to give the boy a good hiding.
Then you can handle him. What about the other one?
Peter Graydon, Church Road.
Well-to-do area?
Yeah, I have an idea his parents could be Graydon Engineering.
Should I know them?
They closed down not long ago, went bust.
Oh, well, whoever they are, let's have a minute.
Right, Mum.
Mrs. Graydon?
Yes.
It's about your son.
Mrs. Graydon's here, Mum.
Show in, please, Josie. Please sit down, Mrs. Graydon.
What's happened, Inspector?
One of my officers arrested Peter this afternoon for theft.
You stole something. What?
He went into Mrs. Dale's sweet shop in Crimea Terrace with another boy, and together they stole sweets valued at £1 8p.
Whatever made you do that?
Dunno.
Who was this other boy?
His name's Thomas Wilson, do you know him?
No. Did he put you up to it? Well,
Dunno.
what do I do?
That's up to you, Mrs. Graydon.
Are you taking him to court?
I've explained to Peter that he could be taken to court, that theft, no matter how much the amount involved, is a very serious offence, and that the court could send him away.
For a few bars of
You
chocolate?
never know what a court will do. They are more enlightened than they used to be, but you never know. Mr. Graydon, I assume, wasn't able to come here with you today.
No, he's gone out for the day.
Wouldn't care anyway.
Could I speak to you alone, please, Inspector?
Yes, of course. Peter, will you wait outside a moment?
are you taking him to court?
As he's not been involved with the law before...
No, he hasn't. I don't know what got into it.
We've decided not to prosecute this time.
Thank you. It won't happen again.
I hope not.
And I'll pay for the sweets, of course. I can't have somebody else suffer because of him.
Is he giving you trouble?
It's not his fault. He's confused, I suppose.
Confused?
At school. He was at a private school, but we had to take him away and send him to the local one. It's rough there, and the other kids give him a hard time. Call him a sissy and that sort of thing. He's not very happy, poor kid. Coming down in the world's all right for me. I've known hard times before, but Peter just doesn't understand it.
That would be a problem.
We've had nothing but problems. My husband went bankrupt and lost his business. He didn't see it coming. I did, so I made him sign the house over to me, otherwise that would have gone as well.
I see. And from what Peter has said, I take it his father doesn't take much interest in him.
He makes no time for him. A father should make time for his son.
I could have a word with Mr. Graydon if you like. I shall have to talk to him anyway.
That might help.
He runs a car workshop now, is that right?
In Long Lane. He doesn't give up, you know. He's a damn good engineer. He's just a rotten businessman. And a rotten judge of people.
And he's out for the day, you say?
Yes. He took the afternoon off to go to Haydock Park races. With a friend.
I will have a word with him. I don't want to see Peter in trouble again. Kids can go astray so badly. They're very vulnerable.
Easy, Frankie. Stop kidding yourself, you Fittipaldi.
Fittipaldi?
Fool! Don't worry. Get that beaten out.
Oh, great. Just what I need.
I'm mad, it really. Come on, have a cigarette. You all right?
Yeah.
Were you watching the traffic signal, sir?
Well, of course I was. Why, it was the other fella's fault. He crossed in red.
You moved off when the signal was showing red and amber.
No, it was green.
You know what the green light means, sir? It means proceed with caution.
Look, I wasn't in the wrong, and I've got a witness here.
Just back from the races, are you?
Yeah. And I lost out there, too.
You've been drinking, sir. Can smell it on your breath.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
We've got a bit of a problem in the charge room.
Oh, yeah.
Elmshaw breathalyzed this fella after an accident. We've given him the second breathalyzer and he's borderline, but he's insisting on seeing you before he sees the doctor.
Do we know him?
I have a feeling I should, but I don't.
Right.
You said you'd fetch the governor.
You're looking at the governor, Mr. Miller. So you live locally?
Half a mile from home and this happens. Oh, it's all rubbish. I mean, look at that thing. I'm in the clear. 3 gins, that's all I had. I mean, what have I done? Some clown jumps the lights in front of me. I do a couple $100 worth of damage to my car. I get pulled and he gets away scot-free. And now this. It's bloody criminal.
It sounds as though your judgment was at fault. Call the police surgeon.
Oh, you're a right little angel of mercy, you are.
I have no choice, Mr. Miller, and neither do you. The blood test will settle it. If you're not over, you've nothing to worry about.
I know I'm not over. All right. You're under arrest. Empty out your pockets.
You know the drill, then.
Do me a favour, love. Ask my friend outside, Mr. Graydon, not to hang about.
Mr. Graydon?
Yes.
Will you come to my office for a minute? Please sit down. We're detaining your friend, Mr. Miller, until he's seen the doctor. It'll be some time yet.
Is there anything I can do?
No. He asked me to tell you not to wait.
He didn't have much to drink. I wouldn't have driven with him if he had.
Oh, it doesn't take much. 2 pints, 2 large whiskies, more than that, and you're at risk. So is everybody else.
Wasn't his day. If I'd lost what he lost today, Doc, I'd have drunk myself into oblivion.
He lost a lot, did he?
About 1,000.
What? What does he do for a living?
Wheels and deals. Gambles a lot. Has some big wins, too.
You known him long?
Couple of months.
He's new to Hartley, isn't he?
Hasn't been here long. Moved out from Manchester.
Oh, well, Hartley must still have something to offer.
It's damn all I can see.
You are the Mr. Graydon who used to run Graydon Engineering.
That's right.
Your wife told me that you'd been to the races today.
You know my wife?
Yes, I had to see her about your Peter. He was caught stealing sweets today.
Peter? Stealing?
Yes.
I never believed it of him.
No.
Never thought he'd have the nerve.
You take it very lightly.
You take things very seriously in this, Nick, don't you? All kids steal sweets. I used to.
He'll be cautioned this time, but if he ever does anything like it again, he could be in serious trouble.
I'll warn him.
He's a very unhappy little boy, or hadn't you noticed? Your wife's very worried,
She's a great worrier.
and you're not.
Oh, I've got more than enough to worry about. But I try not to. I do things instead.
In that case, I have a suggestion.
Yes?
Do something about Peter.
So, what do we do about him?
We?
Well, it's your problem too, isn't it?
Oh, you're the problem, Dick, not Peter.
Me?
He looks up to you and you look down on him. You show no interest. You pay no attention when he talks to you. You put him down all the time. You don't help him out one little bit.
Look, Betty, I've got too much on my mind.
Oh, for God's sake, change the record, why don't you?
Look, if you sold this house, which I paid for, I could get going again.
We're keeping the house until times get better. At least we've got somewhere to live. And it's your son you should be thinking about now.
All right, I'll try.
Will you?
I've said I'll try. I don't guarantee results. I'm not good at getting into the minds of 10-year-olds.
You manage all right with Frankie Miller?
What's he got to do with it?
Losing all that money at the races. A 10-year-old would have more sense than that.
Well, he could afford it.
Can he? Well, I don't trust that man, and I wish you weren't so friendly
Look,
with him.
now you're being silly.
No, I'm not.
There's nothing wrong with the fellow. He's bright, he's generous, he's good company. He's got a bit of personality, he's fun. There aren't many fun people around Hartley these days. There aren't any, in fact, apart from him.
Well, I don't know that being fun is worth much.
You followed a good hunch, Jean.
Quite a record, isn't it? Burglary, safe blowing, hijacking, nothing trivial.
Frankie Miller's a good thief. Very versatile.
Now, why has he come to live on my patch? I don't think I want him.
I want him. He was questioned about a wages van robbery in Manchester only 3 months ago. They had to let him go. Insufficient evidence, and he had a false alibi which they couldn't break.
Then how did they know it was false?
Well, Miller makes lots of friends. He's really a very generous, open-handed fellow. So nobody wants to shop him. They'd rather do the opposite.
Provide him with an alibi.
Exactly. He's such a lovely fellow.
How much did they get away with at Manchester?
4 of them took £28,000. None of it recovered.
So his share was probably 7.
And if he's dropping £1,000 a time at ADOC, he'll not have much of that left. He's likely looking for another job to do very soon.
Here.
Who knows? Anyway, I can't afford the bodies to keep him under surveillance. So I want your uniform lads to keep a sharp eye out for him.
All sightings to be reported to the collator.
Aye. And I want them to be very particular about the time that they see him. Brief them well, though. Photographs, description of car, etc. And keep them at it. Remind them every day.
Mm-hmm. Right, sir.
What do you know about this pal of his, Graydon?
Not a lot. I'm dealing with his son, that's all.
Bankrupt, isn't he?
Yes, he used to run an engineering firm. Now it's a car workshop.
Cash only if he's bankrupt. That's always dodgy. How thick is he with Miller? I mean, would he talk about him?
Hard to say.
Could you find out? Use your interest in the son, perhaps?
I'll try.
Getting it.
Maybe a bit stewed.
Oh, that's all right.
Sugar?
No,
Right.
Adams.
thank you.
Yes, well, I'll leave you to your talk.
Oh, move that BMW out, would you?
Yeah, okay, Mr. Green.
So how did he react?
Peter's all right. He won't do it again.
Good. You gave him a thorough talking to, then?
Well,
You mean you didn't, but your wife did?
I hardly ever see him.
He needs his father to take an interest in him. All boys do.
You think that's part of the trouble?
Yes, I do.
I'm trying. I'm picking him up from school to keep him from temptation. But you see all this? I'm working here all hours.
How's it going?
So-so. Scratching a living. It's cash only. Has to be in my situation, so I charge less. I like to use some of my old workforce, like Eddie there. They're all out of work. I like to help them if I can.
Why did your firm go bust, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind. Quite simple, anyway. The firm I was supplying went broke. Couldn't meet its bills, so I couldn't meet mine, the economic climate. So here I am, weathering the storm, I hope.
Well, I really admire what you're trying to do. A lot of men in your position would have just given up.
You know, you're the first person in any kind of authority who's ever said that to me. I've had the tax man here, the VAT man, and some character from the Social Security. See if Eddie was earning enough for them to cut his dole money. They're all looking for fiddles, looking to screw you down. They give you no credit for saving the state money by staying out of the dole queue and doing something useful. They make me sick.
It's not easy for people.
I wish I could sell that house and move to Australia.
Why Australia?
Still opportunities out there. The roles are reversed now, you know. This country's become a penal colony. You're chivied and harried by so many tin pot officials. They turn people into criminals. I mean, I'd fiddle the tax and VAT now just to get my own back on them.
Careful, Mr. Graydon. I wouldn't like to see you getting into trouble.
I thought trouble was your business.
Policing's about preventing people from getting into trouble. Which is why I wanted the word about Peter.
I can't. I will make more time for him.
Good. I'm sure it'll help. How's your friend Miller?
Annoyed. He should be here by now. I arranged to fix his car for him.
Oh, perhaps I should go.
Oh, don't worry. He's a good sort, really. He doesn't bear a grudge. I'll take a bet with you. He'll pass that blood test.
Good, I hope he does.
And why didn't you let him go?
He can't take chances, not with something like that. But if he's under, fair enough. Do you see much of him?
Yeah. We meet up the Shakespeare most evenings. Why?
Does he ever discuss business with you?
Why'd you ask?
Oh, curiosity, that's all. He describes himself as a company director. That can mean anything these days.
And anything describes his business. Why didn't you ask him yourself?
Mr. Miller?
I won't take up any more of your time, then.
How soon can you fix it, Dick? Ah, the Angel of Mercy. What brings you here?
We were talking about Peter.
Oh, he's brushed with the law, eh? These master criminals do keep you busy, Inspector.
You look a lot better today, Mr. Miller.
All the better for seeing you, love.
Don't forget, Mr. Graydon, if you want any help with Peter, we can put you in touch with the right people.
Thanks, Inspector. Yeah, really.
Hey, they don't make them like that anymore.
Got it cheap. Practically rebuilt it.
You won't have a fit if I drive it.
Hey, just take it easy.
He couldn't make it.
I thought he'd forgotten.
Never. Your dad tells me you've been in a spot of trouble.
Yes.
Nicking sweets or something. You shouldn't have got caught at that. I never did. How many were you? 2? 3?
2 of us.
You need at least 3. 2 to draw attention, 1 to do nicking. That's the important thing. Only 1 to do nicking.
Why?
That's a daft question. If all 3 of you are at it, there's 3 times chance of being spotted. 1 can get away with it. Elementary. Mind, I'm not advising you to have another go.
Don't want to.
Good. You need to do things right in this life.
Not do wrong.
No, not get caught.
Hello. Mr. Miller brought me home. What's I like you to do?
He's busy, working for me. Still, I think I cheered young Peter up a bit.
Cheered him up?
Pinching those sweets. It doesn't matter, it's nothing.
Really?
That's if you get caught.
That's what you've been telling him, is it?
I was sit down in the dumps. Not to worry, I tell him. Feels a bit better now, don't you, Pete?
Yes.
Look at me, I say. I've done some daft things in my time. Like yesterday, did me lot of the races, and now I'm skint. So what? Forget it. No use brooding, is there?
And you'll do it again, of course.
Likely.
I don't want Peter thinking like that, thank you very much.
We don't lumber him with a load of guilt, do you?
I don't want him to think stealing's a joke, Frankie. Because it isn't.
Everyone's at it these days, one way or another. Only way to survive.
I won't have Peter being taught that, or my husband.
Oh, come on, Betty. I don't teach anybody anything. Me, a teacher. I just tell it how it is.
You can find your own way out, can't you?
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to upset you. Just giving young Peter a lift.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Miller.
Don't mention it.
Anyone want to bet? Last race coming up. No tax. There you are, gents. No betting tax on the last race. Win it for yourselves and not the government.
Nice results for you up there. All favourites bar one got beat.
Which is why I can afford to be generous and give them the tax.
You must have had a good day.
Well, I'm not complaining, for once. You betting, are you?
Score to win. Green Goddess at 5s.
100 subs to a score. Green Goddess to win. Right, Mr. Miller. You are on, sir.
See you.
You're not waiting for the race.
Can't stand the suspense.
Come along now, gents.
Dick, it's Frankie. Yeah, sorry, mate. Look, I took the liberty of using the car to set up a bit of business. Didn't think you'd mind. Well, I'm at home. Got some stuff to collect. Yeah, all right, mate. Look, I'll be 10 minutes or so, then I'll come pick you up. And take you out by a dirty great drink. All right. I knew you wouldn't mind, not really. Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.
I learned more about Graydon than Miller.
Is Graydon straight?
He's probably fiddling the taxman, that's all.
Not that straight, then. Does he know that Miller's got form?
I wouldn't like to say.
Well, he must have some idea. I mean, they knock around together.
True.
Where do they go?
Graydon mentioned the Shakespeare.
Oh, no, I'll buy you one.
No.
I promise to buy you.
Please, if it's my chauffeur. 2 pints of best.
You know, I've been thinking, Dick. How would you like to make a lot of money?
Who doesn't, as long as it's on the level?
You make your own spares for that Jensen?
Yeah, it's the only way I can get them.
Would you make them brandy car?
Sure. Just give me the specifications.
Excuse me.
Yeah. You know, I know a firm in London that does nothing but make spares for vintage cars. Their order books are full for the next 2 years, and they are making a bomb.
I need a bit of capital.
Oh, I could raise it for you. For a short thing like that. You and I together, we could do very nicely out of it.
You know, that sounds a damn good idea.
I'm 100% certain it is. Oh, look, I need to see someone. That bit of business I mentioned. I'll catch him if I'm quick. Can I borrow your car for about 20 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Watch me a beer for me. And think it over. I'll be back.
That? Oh, who cares? Come on, we're late already, and I fancy me chances tonight.
You always do.
Gents.
What would you like, then, G? How long's the law been here?
Just this minute arrived. Why?
If anyone asks, I've just been out for a pee like I've been with you the whole time, right?
Okay. What's this all about, Frankie?
Nothing. Sam again.
Yeah, sure.
2 pints of best, Sharon. Don't worry, love, I'm not driving. The car's still in dock.
It's not my problem, Mr. Miller.
Bigger fish to fry, eh?
Do you know Mr. Logan? Mr. Miller.
Hi. Colleague.
How did you guess?
A stare. All policemen stare at people.
Aye, we're not very couth, Mr. Miller.
Have one yourself, love. Thanks. See you.
Certainly not broke, is he?
What's this all about?
I just wanted to say I've been with you here since we came in at 7.
But why?
Never mind why. I've done you a few favours, and I'll do you some more, like set you up in a good business. Just do me this favour. It won't cost you anything.
All right.
Now, let's drink these up and go on somewhere else, shall we?
7:35, right?
One more bottle later. Morning, George.
Morning, Mom. Bit of excitement last night.
Oh, yeah?
Harry's racing in Preston Road got done. Safe blown, nearly 1,500 in cash taken.
Who's handling it?
Mr. Logan's up there now.
George, reports on sightings of Frankie Miller. Are there any in yet?
I'll check.
Bring them to me, will you?
Morning, Eddie.
Morning.
Heck. You priming that in record time?
Aye, it's not a bad job if I do say so.
Well done. Our tournament's nearly ready. Better still, you tell me it's nearly ready, I'll find me lighter.
Okay. There's no answer from Mr. Miller.
There's nothing to do with you, Eddie.
No?
There's a bit of candle in it.
It's not a candle, Mr. Graydon. That's a lump of gelignite.
Morning, Albert.
Morning, sir.
Right, take him to the interview room, Bob. I charge for interviews these days. Jean. I brought Millet in for questioning re the betting shop job. Do you know about it?
Yeah. What time did it happen?
One of the neighbours heard a thump and timed it at 7:23 p.m. Now, Miller says he was in the Shakespeare with Graydon from 7 p.m. onwards until we saw him.
Which was at 7:35 p.m.
Yeah. Miller is a natural for this. It's his form. He knows the shop, it's near where he lives, and he's bet there several times. But he couldn't have done it without a car. And he didn't have a car yesterday. Well, not his own, anyway.
PC Helmshaw reports seeing him at 4:15 driving a Jensen. Registration HEH 747J. He was picking up Graydon's son Peter from Hope Street School.
Really? What was Miller wearing last night?
Cream leather jacket, grey trousers, navy and purple shirt.
Wasted in uniform, you know. He's wearing a suit this morning. I'm going to get a warrant, turn his place over, get his clothes to forensic.
It's a bit late for traces of explosives, surely.
Well, yeah, but he might have left a thread or two behind him. It's worth a try.
What about that wad of money he was flashing around?
Oh, we'll have a story about that. No, I'm going to have to do this one the hard way, Jean. Miller is much too fly to cough anything. But while I'm dealing with him, will you go and see Graydon for me?
Check his alibi.
Break it.
It's about Frankie Miller. You were with him last night.
You saw us?
How long had he been with you?
Well, we went to the Shakespeare about 7, a bit before, perhaps. Why?
Was he with you all that time?
Yes. What's this all about?
He didn't leave the pub during that period.
No. Come on, now what's he supposed to have done?
We're investigating a burglary in a betting shop in the Preston Road.
Why should you think Frankie was involved?
He's known to us, Mr. Graydon.
A record, you mean?
Hmm.
Oh, look. Frankie doesn't need to do that sort of thing. As a businessman, he could make a fortune. He's full of ideas.
He's a very persuasive character. Is that his car out there?
Yeah.
Did you lend him another one yesterday?
No.
And he didn't leave you at any time in the Shakespeare last night?
No.
Didn't perhaps borrow your car for half an hour or so?
No. I don't lend my car to anyone.
You lent it to him yesterday afternoon. He picked Peter up from school.
Well, that was because I couldn't pick him up myself. He was helping me out.
Did you help him out in return by lending him your car later?
No.
Would you care to make a written statement to that effect?
A written statement?
Yes, we'd appreciate it. Later this morning, perhaps.
All right.
Thank you.
Are you getting rid of that?
It's not the sort of stuff I want lying around here.
Don't do it, Mr. Graydon. He's not worth it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Eddie.
Did you believe him?
No, he was lying. Somebody else might have seen Miller leave that pub.
What, and timed him? Be prepared to stand up in a witness box and swear to it. People don't notice. Why should they?
What evidence have we got against Miller so far?
Damn all. I searched this flat and found nearly 1,600 in cash. Now, I know most of it came from the betting shop, but I can't prove it. Forensic have got his clothes. I mean, they might turn up something, but it's going to take a couple of days. Oh, and we're trying to trace 3 youths who were seen nearby at the time of the explosion.
Nothing at the scene?
No. I can't charge him yet, and he knows I can't. And I question him, he's just playing games with me.
Graydon's coming in to make a written statement.
Good. I'll have a go at him then.
His wife's a sensible woman. Perhaps I could talk to her. Sow a few seeds of doubt.
You're suggesting that my husband is giving Frankie a false alibi?
That's what it looks like.
How do you know it's false? Whatever Dick is, he's not a liar. He's not a crook either.
We know Frankie Miller. He has a way with people.
What do you mean?
He leads people into trouble, and I hate to see that happen. Now, your husband has taken a lot of knocks, and he's worked very hard to overcome them. I admire him for that. But I think he's being influenced by Miller, and Miller is a professional criminal.
I thought he was just a small-time fiddler, a cowboy.
He is not small-time.
But the alibi could be true, couldn't it? I don't know what to think. I'm in a bit of a muddle.
You don't want to see your husband involved, do you?
No. No, I don't.
How's Peter, by the way?
Not very happy. What do I do?
You talk to him about it. And if that doesn't get you anywhere, talk to me.
Suppose you're feeling pleased with yourself. You've helped out a pal.
He was with me, and that's it.
It's all lies. You know it and I know it.
You don't know it at all. You've made up your mind without any evidence, and you're determined to pin it on him.
I'll get him. I've no doubt about that. My inquiries have a long way to go yet.
I'll leave you to them, then.
And I'll leave you with a thought, Mr. Graydon. This is lies, and I'll prove it. And then I'm going to throw the book at you. Conspiracy, perjury, perverting the course of justice, wasting police time. Think about that.
So he didn't believe you either?
Threatened to throw the book at me. All bluff, of course.
I told her you weren't a liar or a crook.
Thanks.
But you're becoming both, thanks to Frankie.
I just don't want to see him go to jail.
I hope they give him 10 years.
How can you wish that on him? What's he done to you?
I want him out of your life, and mine, and Peter's. He's a corrupter.
A corrupter? You can single him out as a corrupter in this day and age? The whole damn world's run on greed and corruption. Frank is a realist.
A realist?
He loses 1,000 to the bookies one day. Next day he wins it back, so he cheats a bit.
How can you treat it so lightly?
Look, I've been ripped off and ruined by this crummy system. Should I respect it?
You were never like this.
Well, I am now.
I'm frightened, Dick.
Look, don't be. We'll be all right. Frankie'll get off and we'll set up in business together. Well, he's got this marvellous idea. He provides the capital, I provide the know-how, and eventually...
You must be mad! Where would he get the capital? By robbing a bank, maybe?
Look, I don't give a damn where he gets it from. I don't want to know. I'm a bankrupt. Nobody else is going to invest in me. You won't, will you? My own wife, and you won't even back me with my own assets. So I'll go to Frankie to help with it.
I don't understand what's happening to you. Why did you lend Frankie your card to do that job?
I didn't know he was going to do a job.
You just covered up for him?
That's all.
You didn't do anything else?
Well...
Well, did you?
He left a bag in my car with a bit of gelignite in it.
What did you do with it?
I got rid of it.
You fool. He'll be the ruin of you.
Is that anything new for me? We're busy at the moment, Peter.
I did wait for you, Dad, at school.
Oh, come in, love. It's all right.
I'm sorry, son. I got a bit caught up.
I brought you a present.
You did? Cigars? These cost more than £3.
You like them, don't you?
Yes,
Where'd you get the money, Peter?
I saved up.
You're telling fibs. You stole them, didn't you?
Well, I didn't get caught.
Did you hear that? I hope you and Frankie are proud of yourselves.
You shouldn't have done it.
Are you going to make me take them back?
where your mum's gone. Suppose you want something to eat.
I am a bit hungry.
I'd say we go out somewhere, eh? Just the two of us. We can have some hamburgers or something.
That would be great.
Would it really? Come on, then.
We've traced the three youths who were seen near the shop.
Were they any help?
Very much so. They saw a Jensen parked near the entry.
Did they get the registration number?
No, but one of them noticed it was a J registration because he hadn't seen a 12-year-old car in such marvellous nick before.
Graydon's is a J.
Oh, it was his, all right.
Sorry, ma'am. Mrs. Graydon wants to see you.
Yeah, sure, in, Joseph. Mrs. Graydon, this is Detective Chief Inspector Logan.
Mrs. Graydon.
Please, sit down.
I've got to tell you something, Inspector. I've got to tell you for my family's sake.
It's about Frankie Miller, is it?
Dick wasn't telling you the truth. He's all mixed up. He's been influenced by Frankie. He'd had a hard time, and it's made him bitter, and he was right for a man like that, and how it's all affecting our Peter.
Go on.
Frankie did borrow the car to rob that betting shop.
Your husband admitted this to you?
Yes. Dick didn't know what he was going to do, but afterwards he...
Yes?
You won't prosecute Dick, will you?
Well, we can't promise anything, but if he cooperates
Well, he
with
will
us...
now, I'm sure.
Go on. Afterwards.
Afterwards, he found a bag in the car with a bit of gelignite in it.
Where is this bag?
Dick got rid of it.
Where?
He didn't tell me where. I'm not telling you this to hurt my husband. I'm telling you to protect him.
I understand that. You mustn't worry. You're doing the right thing.
Do you know anything about the state of Miller's finances?
Yesterday, he told me he was flat broke.
Mrs. Graydon, would you be willing to sign a statement covering what you've just told me?
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Graydon. I'm going to have another word with friend Miller.
Do you think my husband will ever forgive me?
I'm sure he will. You've saved him from a lot of trouble.
Will he see that?
I'll make him see it. Besides, you own the house.
Correction 7321. The address is 94. Repeat, 94 Portland Street. Partly to 8077. 8077, go to the...
Hey, don't they get enough of that every day?
Is that why we keep it by the bed all night, every night?
You know why? Because anywhere else it might get nicked. Better?
Marginally.
Time?
I'm on duty again this weekend, did I tell you?
Oh, Tom.
Well, we got two people away on a holiday. I couldn't very well refuse.
It's the second weekend in a month.
Nonsense.
I thought we might do something nice. take ourselves off somewhere.
Jean, I warned you when I took this job that it wouldn't be a 9 till 5 do. Besides, I don't give you a bad time when it happens to you, do I?
No.
Well, then.
You don't exactly go overboard about it either.
You always have to have the last word, don't you?
As a rule. Hello? When? Did he make any statement? What's the problem then? Oh, I see. No, don't do anything now. I'll follow it up in the morning, right? Uh-huh. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know.
Late for shop talk, isn't it?
There's been a development in that Moor Park Road job. I asked them to keep me posted. I was watching that.
We should get some sleep.
Tom.
What?
Good night.
Night.
Hey, you!
Get up, Mum. Come on, just get up. Get out. Come on.
Heavy day.
Could say so.
I was thinking, how about you and me having lunch today? Well, why not? Let the world and its problems take care of themselves for an hour, eh?
You've been uniform.
So, I'll wear a coat. Give us a chance to talk as well.
About what?
Oh, Tom. You think I haven't noticed how depressed you are lately? I want to help, if you'll give me a chance.
Well, give us a ring later. See how things are shaping up.
Right. Tom, try and make it if you can.
Do you think it'll solve anything?
Morning, Mary. Morning.
Thank you, please. Morning. Oh, Tom, did you manage to finish those case notes on the Brent children?
No, I'm still working on them.
It looks like we found foster parents for them, so could you get them done by tomorrow?
Right.
Yes, I'm still holding.
Any more messages?
Oh, yes, the DHSS phoned about a benefit and Dr. Herrick about a geriatric case. Yes, hello, matron. It's Jenny Randall, Hartley Council.
Thank you.
Yes, that's right. Well, it looks as though that's going to go ahead now. Yes. Could we arrange for a meeting tomorrow then? 2:30?
Tom Dobley.
Good. Okay. I'll make sure that we're not
Oh, of course I didn't know. Yes. Right, I'll tell her.
Problem?
We called an emergency case conference on the Cartwright couple.
You went to see them yesterday, didn't you? Didn't you?
Yes. Apparently, within an hour of my leaving, she was admitted into casualty. Had to have 10 stitches in her head.
What happened?
An accident, she said.
Again?
Exactly.
Where is she now?
She's at home. Discharged herself.
Oh. Well, there's no way you could have predicted it would happen, Tom.
So why the conference?
It's routine.
Good try, Jenny. I'm going round there, see what's going on.
Is that a good idea?
Oh, can I borrow your car?
Is that a good idea?
Always bus it.
Come on, Laura. Stop playing silly beggars. I know you're in there.
I just want to talk, that's all, you know.
You're not achieving anything by this. I'll be back and you know it.
So you worked in an office originally?
Yes, Mum.
Doing what?
Typing, filing, general office dog's body. It bored me rigid.
And you decided police work wouldn't?
I wanted to do something a little more demanding than pounding a typewriter.
I see you specially asked for this attachment. Why here in particular?
Because of you. You came to the training school, gave us a talk on women's integration in the force, how it's been for the good, how women still have to try twice as hard to prove themselves, but they could do it if they had the determination.
I obviously made an impression.
You did.
And you thought by asking for this posting that you'd get preferential treatment?
Well, not at all. Why'd you say that?
It's one interpretation.
I simply wanted to work under someone I admired and respected. Is there anything wrong with that?
That's important to you.
Of course. Isn't it to you?
And supposing I don't live up to your expectations, what then? What I'm saying is, giving a lecture on the theory is one thing, putting it into practice is another. You might not find that relaxed performance you saw me give at the training school applies here. It doesn't.
You asked me why I applied for this attachment, and I've told you the reason.
And I'm simply suggesting there might be more appropriate ones. It's the job that counts, not the people who do it.
Yes, Mum.
I don't get the feeling I've explained myself too well.
Oh, I think I understand what you're saying, Ma'am.
Right, well, we'll talk again later, when you've found your feet. In the meantime, I'll show you about, and I think Sergeant Becky's going to second you to someone so you can do a patrol duty.
Yes, Mum. Thank you, Mum.
Interview room A. Interview room B.
Actually, PC Bentley's already shown me where everything is. I'd just as soon start work if it's all right with you.
And you saw them running off where?
Perfectly.
Right, we'll send someone over to check it out. Thank you.
Trouble?
Doubt it. Old girl spotted two lasses messing about with parked cars on the Waterloo estate. Only she didn't bother to report it until she'd got her curlers out and come back from the laundrette. Probably halfway to Manchester by now.
Tell Benter to go over there when he goes out on patrol.
Right.
Oh, and perhaps he'd like to take Hannah with him. She's rather anxious to get started.
Thank you, Mum.
Had the old welcoming routine, have you?
Something like that.
Don't let first impressions mislead you, love. Behind that steel facade beats a heart of solid wrought iron.
Sorry.
To recap, we've been supervising the Cartwrights for just over 18 months, since Jack Cartwright had his accident and became wheelchair-bound. There's a recurrent history of drink, intermittent violence, and a general failure to cope with their altered situation. Right, Jenny. Anything you want to add?
Tom's been dealing with this one, Vivian.
Oh, Tom.
Well, things had been improving. Except yesterday morning, I had a letter from Laura, Mrs. Cartwright, saying that things were going badly wrong again.
Have you got the letter?
Anyway, I called round there late yesterday afternoon, but well, when I went, she said it was all a mistake.
Yes? Is that it?
Oh, I pressed her about it, naturally, but well, she said she'd written the letter whilst depressed, and now she felt much better about it.
Dr. Jason?
Was the husband present at this meeting?
Yes.
What did he have to say?
Nothing.
But you discussed this letter, the one she'd written in his presence.
Yes, I did.
Well, was that wise? I understood he resents our supervision anyway. He regards it as state interference. Well, he can't have been too pleased when he heard she'd written to you behind his back.
But look, he knew about the letter, I'm sure of it.
How long were you there?
10 minutes.
And an hour later, she was on her way to hospital.
So you think what happened to her and my visit are linked?
We simply want to find out what, if anything, you picked up at this meeting. If you sensed there was something wrong between them.
Well, if I had sensed something wrong, I'd done something about it, wouldn't I?
It's quite in character for Laura to write a letter like this. A letter she doesn't really mean. She's not exactly rational at the best of times.
Except she clearly did mean it, because what she was worried about happened.
And would have happened with or without a visit from us.
That's a matter of opinion.
Yes, well, I don't think anyone should be condemned on an opinion, do you?
Look, she called it an accident, which is what she said last time and the time before that. What kind of accident in God's name?
What's her condition now, Doctor?
Well, the injury itself sounds straightforward enough.
I'll call in later today, check it out.
If she let you in, she wouldn't me.
You've been back.
Well, of course I've been back. And as soon as I heard what had happened, what did you expect?
I expected you to wait. I want you to get round there right away, Jenny. Assess the situation. We'll find out what really happened and report back to me with appropriate recommendations. We'll reconvene at 4 o'clock.
Right.
Thanks for your time, everyone.
We're a little further at 4 o'clock than we have this afternoon.
Tom, the whole point of this meeting is to decide what action, if any, to take.
So?
Well, it's a somewhat pointless exercise if that decision is preempted by someone acting on their own initiative and without consultation, wouldn't you say?
Well, you're asking my opinion, are you? I got the impression it wasn't rated very highly.
We'll speak later, Jenny.
Oh, come on, Tom. You know what Dr. Jason thinks about social workers. He regards us all as amateur do-gooders. He virtually said as much. haven't got the monopoly on Vivian Maxley's reprimands. We've all had to suffer them.
Yes, well, it's a bit different with me, isn't it?
Why? Because she's a woman?
Because everybody around here seems to think I was born the day before I started this job. Well, I wasn't. I held down a job, a very responsible job, for 15 years. And I didn't become a social worker to be slagged off by anybody who wants to take a pot shot at me.
Oh, you expected to be thanked by everyone, did you?
Well, why not, eh? Just by way of a change.
Look, whether you like it or not, you're still in training. And part of that training is taking criticism. It is possible, conceivable, that you did make a mistake. We'll just have to find out when we get there.
We?
Yes, we. As senior social worker on this case, I can still make some decisions.
Which route are we taking?
The quickest.
In that case, it's the bypass. I bought a street map before I ride. I'll navigate if you like, unless you prefer I drive.
She's keen. You can't deny it.
She's that all right. I just hope he can stand the pace.
Industrial estate. Traffic's the worst headache. Even in rush hour, especially.
We did a special course on traffic as part of our training.
Oh?
Just classroom theory, mainly. But they reckoned that flexi-time would solve half the traffic problems.
Did they?
Perhaps your inspector should have a word with some of the employers. Explain to them the problem traffic has on the deployment of police manpower.
Maybe you'd like to suggest it to him. Moore Park Road, where we get most of the pro break-ins. If we've got enough men, we like to make a patrol most nights. Made an arrest last night, as a matter of fact, from a job last Easter.
You did?
One of the night lads.
I've not done an arrest yet. Have you?
One or two.
Mind you, we covered most of it in training. The procedures and so forth. But I dare say there's a lot more to it than that. It would be naive to think otherwise.
Just a touch. They'll be well away by now. The report was an hour old when we got it.
Well, we can talk to the witness, can't we?
Hello, Laura. Where is he?
Where do you think?
Would you rather talk here?
Talk about what?
Well, we could start with the gash in your head.
I walked into a door.
Oh, terrific. We've had the official version. Now, how about the unofficial one?
Ask him.
I'm asking you. Well, come on, Laura. What was it that made him mad? Was it because you'd written that letter to Tom? Is that what set him off?
Oh, we knew I'd written. Christ, he should have. He dictated the bloody letter.
Oh, within minutes of Tom leaving here last night, he was laying into you again. So if it wasn't Tom's letter or his visit, what was it?
I didn't say it wasn't Tom's visit.
Do you want to explain that?
Oh, what's the point?
Look, would it make it easier if I left?
You can do what the hell you like.
I'm waiting, Laura.
We wrote that letter because we knew things were getting bad again. Jack was drinking again. We were fighting again. We just didn't know how to stop. And he always said when we felt like that to let him know and he'd be here.
But when I asked you about it, you said it was all a mistake, remember?
It was. The minute you walked in, we knew it was. I've only got a minute, he says. What's the problem, he says. I'm on my way to another client, he says. Client? You'd think he was a bloody salesman.
He did come as soon as he got your letter.
Oh, yes, he came. He always comes. For 5 minutes. 10 if you're lucky. But he always comes, oh, yes.
Look, I do have other people on my list, you know, Laura.
People? Is that what you call them? I thought they were just names and numbers.
Oh, come on, you know I don't operate like that.
No.
I don't get any of this. When Tom took over this case, you were really pleased.
Yes, well then, he just didn't give advice, did he? He gave a bit of time to go with it. Do you know what he does when he comes here, before he rings the doorbell? He stands out there looking through our files so he can remember our names and why he's come. So he's got it all word perfect before he comes in.
Look, if I do it, it's only because I want to be fully acquainted with all the facts.
God, he even sounds like a bloody textbook.
Yes, well, none of this explains what happened here last night.
We sat in all day waiting for him. We thought if we could just hold out long enough, we'd be all right. We'd be able to talk it through with him. And when he came, we knew it was useless. Useless.
What was it you wanted to talk through with him, Laura? Well, it must have been something.
Oh, what the hell does it matter now, anyway?
Well, it matters to me, Laura. Look, I know somehow things have got fouled up between us. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't care about you. And I don't want to help you.
Help? You're never here to help, are you? Where are you when he starts on about his accident? About what it's done to him? About how he isn't a man anymore? Every night the same thing, over and over. Well, where are you? You want to know how I got this? Well, he hit me with a bottle and I let him, just the way I always let him. And you talk to me about help.
But why? Why do you let him do it?
Because he's got to lash out at someone, hasn't he? He's got to hurt someone. And if I don't let him do it to me,
Come on, if you don't let him do it to you, what? What, Laura?
I'm afraid he may do something to himself. Now, get out! You've got what you came for. Well, go and write it down in one of your files, but get out.
Come on, Laura.
Get out!
I told you, they'd be well clear by now.
It was worth a try. Now, how about having a look at the town? We can go north up Canal Street, left into Junction Road, and then take a right fork into the top of the High Street.
Tom, why on earth didn't you tell me things were going so badly wrong?
I didn't think they were.
How many cases have you got on at the moment?
Offhand, God knows.
Approximately.
40.
40? How?
Well, some are follow-ups from the intake duties. Referrals. We've got 2 people away on leave. I promised to supervise some of their work while they're away.
You're supposed to check with me before you take on any new cases.
Yes, I thought I could handle it.
It's too much.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Hand them back and say I can't cope?
That's exactly what you're supposed to do. What do you think? People are going to say you failed because you can't take on a new case? It doesn't work like that. I told you from the beginning. Pace yourself.
I wanted to prove that I was up to it.
Why? We're not in competition with each other. You don't rate success in this job like that.
Oh, all right, then I'll elbow half my caseload.
Tom, I am trying to find out what's gone wrong. Oh, look, it's probably my fault. I could see that you were. Well, I should have said something before. I just assumed it was something to do with Jean.
Jean? Why?
I don't know, things you've said. Or rather, haven't said.
Look, do us a favour, will you, Jenny? Just leave the psychoanalysis bit for the clients.
car.
What is it?
I want to do a walkabout.
Hey?
The training school said if you want to get to know a place and the people in it, there's no better way than getting out there amongst them.
We're supposed to stick together.
We're supposed to use our initiative, right? I'll be half an hour.
Well, make sure you are. Hey, I'll meet you here in 30 minutes. Oi! Be here.
Cool.
Come on.
I need your help. Mrs. Bailey? You better get back to your counter.
Right. Perhaps you'd like to tell me what happened?
Well, together with Mrs. Bailey, my counter assistant, I watched these two girls taking various items and putting them into their pockets and into that bag. It's all here. 4 pairs of tights, 2 pairs of sunglasses, 2 packs of eyeshadow, a can of hairspray, mascara, and a jar of face cream. They then left the shop without making any attempt to pay. We followed them and picked them up outside in the usual way.
Well, you've heard what this man has said. I must warn you that you are not obliged to say anything unless you wish to, and that anything you say may be put into writing and given in evidence. Do you understand? Haven't you got anything to say for yourselves at all?
Yes, miss. We didn't do it, miss. Honest, we didn't.
Sit down.
Comedians. But still the same old joke.
Very well. I'll have your names and addresses, please. All right. We'll do it the hard way.
That dry food delivery's arrived. He said you wanted to check it before he went.
Tell him I'll be out in a minute.
Well, he's already unloaded. He wants to get away.
Look, I'll have to go. All right.
Yes.
I'll lock the door after me. Just shout if you want anything.
Right.
I'll not be long.
Would you remain seated, please? Oh, this is WPC Maynard here. I'm at Lawson's store, and I need transport back to the station for 2... I said sit down!
Look at it. The original Miss Peggy.
Give that back to me! Give it back! Stop it! Ah!
Hello? Hello? Hartley to 7189.
7189, are you there?
7189 to Hartley.
Get yourself to Lawson's stores, quick as you can. WPC Maynard needs backup.
Right.
What on earth was she doing there on her own?
Ask Bentley.
I intend to. And ring the manager, see if you can find out what the hell's happening. Sorry, that finishes me.
Oh, bloody hell.
The fire escape!
Suspects. 2 girls got out the back door. I'm in pursuit.
From the back of Lawson's store, Mum.
Right, I'll try and cut them off.
Come on! Oh, leave it out! Get me! Big hands off me! Get off! Lay off me!
Get up!
Leave me alone!
Get up! Get up!
What on earth made you do it? I'm waiting for an explanation.
She insisted on it, ma'am.
Oh, I see. Even though you're the more experienced officer, even though she was specifically put in your charge, under your responsibility, she insisted on going off alone and you went along with it.
The idea was that it'd only take a minute or two.
In other words, no one would be any the wiser. You do realise that if you'd gone by the book, followed Sergeant Beck's instructions to stick with her, none of this would have happened. That little penny has dropped, I take it?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Unfortunately, that doesn't put anything right, does it? Right. Now, let's have your version, Mum. Straight out of training school or not, Hannah, you do know you shouldn't go it alone, don't you?
I was just looking round.
That doesn't answer my question. What exactly happened in there with the 2 girls?
They jumped me. I wasn't ready for it.
Which is why we didn't want you wandering off alone in the first place. Now perhaps that message will have sunk in.
Yes, Mum.
How about the big exit? What was all that in aid of? Couldn't you have cleaned up first?
I could have, yes.
Well?
I thought people should know. All they ever see is the other side, isn't it? The efficient public face. Well, I wanted them to see the other one. We have to face it every day. Why shouldn't they, for once?
Face what, exactly?
This.
Rather a melodramatic way of proving a point.
It's the way a lot of them think of us, isn't it? What I've got to carry about with me for the rest of my working life. Perhaps I just wanted to get used to the idea.
And have you?
No.
Well, whatever your reasons, I don't want to see you doing it again, understood? If people want to think that about us, no amount of dramatic little gestures will make them change their minds. That's something you're just going to have to accept. You can't do the job if you don't, Hannah. Now go and clean yourself up. Let me help you.
I'm locked up.
Tom, I'm still waiting to hear what happened to our lunch.
Oh.
So much for making more time for each other.
Well, we've got time now, haven't we? So, if we'd had this lunch, what would we have talked about?
I told you, us.
And?
How we seem to be pulling in different directions. How we never confide in each other anymore. How you seem to resent it whenever I talk about my work. Things like that.
What conclusions would we have come to?
That if we didn't want to risk our marriage, we'd have to do something about it. Assuming you think we are risking it.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing we're agreed on. Why didn't you really meet me today, Tom?
Oh, I've screwed things up at work, Jean.
Badly?
Bad enough.
How? Why?
Usual story, trying to do too much too early. When I first started social work, they gave us this little pep talk about how you should always let your feelings guide you. When you meet a client, you should tap your own feelings about them in order to understand them better. Even if you feel disgust or... Well, you must use it constructively, because even a negative feeling is a starting point. Providing that you trust your feelings. You haven't lost the knack of feeling anything in the first place. Anyway, I decided that was all so much guff. Logic, that's what was needed. So, I went for the practical approach. I took on more and more cases just to prove I was right. Instead of which, all I managed to prove was that I was incompetent and irresponsible. So after 3 months, I'm back where I started. My way didn't work. If I want to stick at it, I've got to try theirs.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, assuming I'm capable of it.
Of course you are.
If it gets to be a habit, putting a dampener on your feelings, I'm not sure I can break it. God knows I've done it often enough with you.
Me?
So you're right about the resentment. I resent it all. The fact that when the phone rings, it's never for me. When we go out, it's always your career that's the sole topic of conversation. Just that everyone regards you as more successful.
But I'm not.
Other people think you are.
Other people?
We can't just ignore other people, Jean. I don't care about what people think of me.
This is ridiculous, Tom. You're just trying to find a reason because your job hasn't worked as smoothly as you expected, and so you're blaming mine.
I'm blaming myself. If I can just face some of the doubts that I sometimes have about us, then maybe I can do the same with other people.
Your clients, you mean?
Yes.
So I'm to be a guinea pig for them?
Look, I'm the one that's on trial, Jean. Look, I think part of the thing that's been going wrong with us is the same problem that I have at work. Because I'm ashamed of some of the things that I feel. I've tried to ignore them. If I'm ever going to do the job properly, if we're ever going to get back to where we were, then I've just got to face a few things, that's all I'm saying.
That phone might ring at any moment, Tom. You still going to feel resentment?
Possibly. At least we put a name to it now, haven't we? Right?
How can you resent someone you love, even if they are successful?
Perhaps because you're afraid they might not love you if you're not.
You idiot.
Are we ever going to get into this bed or what?
I'm on my way. I thought you wanted an early night.
I do. There's a fight on.
And the southpaw from London, young Terry Barker. And they are two very young men indeed. Barker in green.
You haven't told me about your day.
The London champion comes from Edgware. And John Lyon in the white vest
Nothing to tell.
and white boots. Only 18. A glass worker who put out the defending champion, Joe Dawson.
You've got carried away again, haven't you, Daniel? Hold back on the adjectives, lad. Keep it short, simple, to the point. I mean, it's a bit purple, some of this.
It was just a bit unusual, the graffiti.
Likely the work of kids with time on their hands. What's so special?
It was the daubing that took my notice. Big lines and circles, like a kid's drawing, green paint, right across the walls outside the shop. Crazy stuff.
A bit like modern art, you mean?
No letters or words, though. Struck me as odd, that. Usually get a few obscenities written up. Just this crazy scrawling.
Simon?
Joe?
Morning, ma'am.
Oh, hello.
Bright and early.
Yes.
Young Sparks is just brewing up, ma'am.
Morning, Grace. Good, that'll help. I thought I'd come in early, get some paperwork done before it piles up. Best time of the day before the phone starts ringing.
Have any difficulty finding that restaurant last night?
No, you were right, Joe. Thanks. Across the moors, just the other side of Tunnerton, like you said. Bit of a trek, though, mind you.
Worth the effort, was it?
Yes, we did have quite a nice meal. Joe, do you make a habit of taking food home from restaurants?
What, you mean leftovers?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't normally frequent restaurants myself, ma'am. My mother always used to take a large handbag with her whenever she ate out. Reckon she paid for the food, so why shouldn't she have it?
That's what John Holden said. He took a bin liner.
I see, ma'am.
Funny sense of humour. Still, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lunchtime today? I don't know. Let's see how I get on. I'm up to my eyes at the moment. OK, I'll see you in the pub at lunchtime if I can make it. Thanks, Johnny. No, I'm not cross, John. Well, not exactly. I was a bit embarrassed last night, yes. I mean, I thought you were going to plonk the salt cellar in your bin liner as well. It's just you seem to have some very odd habits sometimes. Yes.
Simon, your dad wants a word.
Why, Simon? Eh? What are you about, lad? Clearing off in the middle of the night? Up with the dawn, sneaking off? Eh? Why? You're gonna get in the bother, you know that. You're ready for trouble, my son. Where'd you get to, eh? Answer me, Simon. I want to know what this is all about.
Simon, your dad's asking you.
Just wandering round. No harm.
Don't tell me you're just taking the air. You're up to something, you are. You're doing something wrong.
Not wrong, no.
Don't want the police on our doorstep over you. I don't want any trouble here.
Simon, you make us so worried. Roaming off on your own at odd hours. We don't know where you are. What you doing?
I just go off. Nowhere particular.
It's not natural by yourself.
You used to play football. Belong to that club. What's happened, Simon? Where's your interest?
Gone off it.
Gone off it? I don't get you, lad, I don't. I mean, you're given everything we can manage. You've got that shed out there, eh? It's what you always wanted, wasn't it, eh? Place of your own. But even that don't seem to interest you now.
I'm all right, Dad. All this fuss, what's the matter?
Well, I want a change of attitude, Simon. All this flopping around. I mean, when'd you last go down to the job centre?
Oh, they got nothing.
Yeah, well, I won't have you going off like this, you hear? I won't have it.
Could do what I want, can't I? I'm 17, I'm old enough to decide.
You'll do what I say while you're here in this house. Now, where'd you get to, eh? Up to the moors? Is that where you're going?
To the moors? Why should I? What's up there?
Look, Simon, you're causing us a lot of worry.
Why? I don't see why.
Your mum. It's upsetting her. She's having a baby, remember?
Why did you ask about the moors?
Shut it! Get out of here! Get out! I don't want to the house to hear. I don't want to hear.
Make it up, please, no! my sake.
Sorry, Mum.
We've got to get the police in on that boy. Let them sort it before something happens.
We can't. You know we can't.
Interesting thing is, blackboards were covered with these weird chalk marks.
Algebra exercises, probably.
No, Sarge, just like before, like the graffiti down the shopping precinct. Same kind of scrawling. Except this time there was a letter, a sort of S it looked like.
Put it all in your report. Let's see ID fathom it. And keep it brief this time, eh?
Sarge?
Danny,
Oh.
can I have a word?
Can I help you, sir?
Brian Keller around?
I'm afraid he's not on duty this morning.
Oh.
Anything I can do?
No, I wanted Mr. Keller. I don't know where he lives, so I thought best come down here.
It's not police business, then, I take it.
Well, it could be, yeah. Well, that's why I've come.
Well, tell me about it.
No, I'd rather not. I know Mr. Keller, and it's a bit private.
See? Well, he'll be here this afternoon if you'd like to call back.
No, I can't do that. I've already taken time off the garage to come down here. And it's a bit urgent. Well, it might prove so.
Can I help at all? I'm Inspector Longton, Mr.
Bailey. Douglas Bailey.
Well, Mr. Bailey, I'm expecting P.C. Keller in to see me shortly. Perhaps you'd like to sit in my office, have a cup of coffee, talk to me. Tell me about this, if you'd like to.
Well, I don't know. It could amount to nothing, really.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't have given it your working time over nothing. This way. How long has he been behaving like this?
For the past month or so. Seems suddenly to have come upon him.
Any particular cause?
Not that I know of. He's always been a bit of a loner, you know. Kept himself to himself. We like football. A good player. Keen on Mr. Keller's club. Believe it or not, don't seem to interest him now.
Where do you think he goes?
Likes the country. Always has done.
No harm in that. Do you think it might be connected with your wife expecting a baby?
Well, I don't see really. No, he's really pleased about it. Simon doesn't resent the baby coming.
Maybe not on the surface. Perhaps he's a bit jealous deep down. Not even aware of it. So it comes out in this unpredictable behaviour.
Well, I can't believe that, Inspector.
Simon's grown up as an only child. Perhaps the prospect of this new arrival might have disturbed him.
Well, we had Simon when we were young, see? In our teens. Wasn't planned for. So we waited till we were proper set up, saved a tidy sum, before we had another kid.
You say Simon's never worked since he left school?
Nothing but lads like him round these parts.
Well, that could have something to do with it. Unoccupied, feeling bored, unwanted. It's understandable.
I just think my son might get himself into trouble.
But why, Mr. Bailey? For what reason?
This strange way of carrying on. I mean, this morning, threatening me. So unlike him.
Fathers and sons often fall out. Simon's at that uncertain age. You know, a bit restless, trying to sort himself.
Oh, there's something more to this.
Very possibly so, Mr. Bailey. But have you told me everything about the situation?
What do you mean?
Well, people sometimes come to us worried about someone, usually in their family. There's often a good reason which they know but won't admit to. So we only get half the story.
I'm not holding anything back, if that's what you're saying.
Then why are you so worried? Your son's behaving like many kids of his age. You don't know of any mischief he's been up to, do you?
I know of nothing like that.
So there's nothing more you can tell me?
Look, I've come here to try and avoid anything happening. Prevent him getting into trouble.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I thought you could just talk to him. You know, word from the police might bring him to his senses before it's too late.
Right. I'll ask Brian Kelleher to talk to him, you know, on an informal basis, see if there is anything to worry about.
Ryman's Farm, that's just off Moor End Lane, isn't it? And the intruder made off, you say? Did you get a look at him? I see. Was there any damage done?
Morning, Danny. What's around?
In her office, Brian. Good mood. Good enough for you.
Anything stolen, was there? A spade? Just a spade?
Now, Brian, I'm going to start nagging you again.
Mum?
Today's the closing date for promotion board applications. That's why I wanted us to speak before you came on duty this afternoon. I've not had a report from you.
No, Mum.
Well, why haven't you applied for permission to appear on the board?
Same reason as before, Mum.
Still not interested?
I'm satisfied with where I am.
You don't strike me as lazy, Brian, or complacent. Are you intimidated by the idea of responsibility?
It's just not my style. I'm not that ambitious. As long as I do my job well enough, that's all I want.
You prefer the simple life?
I suppose that's right.
Yet you were sufficiently motivated to pass your sergeant's exam.
Oh, passing it's one thing. It's good to have it under your belt. If I was successful on the promotions board and got made sergeant, I could get moved from Hartley. Now, there's the kids' school to consider. This is a town I like.
Then have you considered specialising? CID, for instance. You've impressed everyone with your skill at handling suspects.
The hours are the main disadvantage, Mum. They're pretty unsocial.
Your wife would mind?
I'd mind. I'm quite involved with the sports club, and I like to see my family.
OK, I see that. But there's no reason why you shouldn't at least try for a promotion in the uniform branch.
I might very well change my mind in a few years' time, but as of now...
How old are you? 34 in a matter of days, isn't that right? Happy birthday now, by the way, in case I forget.
Thanks.
You've been with the force, what, 15 years? You left things late already. Now's the time to act. Because in another 5 or 6 years, you'll face the prospect of being supervised by men younger than yourself. How would you take to that?
Not too kindly, I don't imagine. No doubt I can live with it.
But why should you? You're a good officer. You've got things to offer.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Now, it's not for me to talk you into something you don't want. But there are others to consider. Like your wife. How does she feel about this?
Well, Ma'am, Janice, she's keen for me to, I mean, certainly she'd like me to take the initiative.
Then you owe it to her. And your family. At least give it a try.
Thank you for taking this trouble, Ma'am.
Anyway, you've got till this afternoon, so think on it.
I will, Ma'am.
Oh, Brian, while you're here, there's another matter I want to talk to you about.
Simon. Wondered where you'd gone.
Nowhere much. Are you okay?
Say sorry to your father. Make it right with him.
I didn't mean nothing. He just riled me.
Apologise to him when he comes home tonight. Then we can forget it. Do you want something to eat?
I'll take some sandwiches out into the shed.
Why don't you have them in here? Won't it be cold out there on your own?
I'll be okay.
I'll make you some up.
Thanks, Mum. Mum, why did Dad ask about the moors?
He doesn't want you to go up there, Simon. He doesn't like the moors.
Why not?
Maybe he'll tell you one day. I'll make you sandwiches now.
Open up there. Hello, Simon. Your mum asked me to bring this out.
Fancy a bite?
Yeah, got me dinner waiting at home. How you doing then?
Not so bad.
Thought I'd drop by. Haven't seen you down the club lately.
Been a bit busy, Mr. Kelleher.
What do you reckon on Burnley now, then?
Not been following.
Gone off them since relegation.
Lost interest a bit, that's all.
It's all right in here, isn't it? Your own den. Did you paint the outside yourself? Why'd you pick green?
Favourite colour?
Do you keep down out here some nights?
In the summer. Too cold now.
Used to go off camping when I was your age. Nothing like it. Away from everything. Trouble is, you've always got to come back home again. What do you reckon on your mother, then? Expecting a kid?
I built a cot.
Have you?
Thought I could make some toys as well. Things like these. Model farmhouse or something.
You do this?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You fond of animals?
Never thought about it.
Who's in the photo?
That was my granddad. Old snapshot I found.
He's dead then, is he?
Never knew him. Just like his face there.
This is quite something.
You can have it if you like.
Let me buy it off you.
You can't buy it, Mr. Kelleher. It's not intended for selling. You can have it.
Thank you, Simon. I'll give it to my daughter. Where'd you get all the tools and stuff?
They were Dad's. He let me have the shed as well.
Pity you can't find work in this line. Getting you down, is it? Being out of work?
Can't say I'm out of work. Never been in work.
What do you do with yourself when you're not carving models?
Take off, wander round, nothing much.
Look, Simon, your dad came to see us this morning at the station. He seems he's a bit bothered about you. He thinks you're getting a bit wild. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, he's concerned. Anything in it? You've been behaving yourself, haven't you?
Done nothing wrong.
Not been misbehaving recently?
Like what?
Well, your dad seems to think you've been keeping odd hours.
Well, what does it matter?
Matters nothing. As long as you mind how you go. Humour your dad a bit. Try and do what he wants. We all got to fall in sometimes. Just you wait till you're married.
Dad send you here.
Indirectly.
I thought you just looked in to say hello.
Well, I've got to go now, Simon. My dinner will be burning. Well, thanks to the little horse.
Why are you doing everything you possibly can to provoke me?
Am I succeeding?
Is it some sort of test? A battle of wills? Kind of tribal initiation ceremony?
Tribal initiation ceremony. We haven't really got down to that yet, have we? I mean, you're quite an old-fashioned type of girl.
Yes.
I'm proud of it.
Not ashamed of it.
You think we'll ever get down to it? Or will we be drawing our pensions first?
But I can think of better places for that kind of discussion.
Yeah, so can I. The lounge bar, for example.
Sometimes you really
A bit
are.
of a slob, in fact.
Did I say that?
No, but it's what you think. Not polite enough in posh restaurants. Slurps in his beer, burps on occasions. Not a suitable companion for the chief constable's cocktail party. He's too untidy in mind and spirit.
You'll improve.
Not a great deal. I was born wrapped in fish and chip paper.
Perhaps that's what attracts me.
A revolted fascination. A kind of temporary escapade into the lowlife. What do you do that for?
I shall sit here till you drink it.
You want something to eat? They do ham butties here.
Not if you brought another bin liner.
No, I always use the same one. I'm not joking.
I must say it was a bit too much last night. And the waiters weren't too happy either. I mean, first the shrimps went in, then half a chicken, then the roast potatoes and a lump of English cheddar. And you wanted some of mine.
It was for the dog.
Oh, I see. First off, I thought you were planning a cold lunch buffet.
I can't drink that now, can I? I'll get another round in.
Not for me, John. I've got to get back.
Oh, well, when will I see you again?
How much do you want to?
Quite a lot. Maybe I can loosen you up eventually.
And maybe I can teach you some table manners.
I doubt it. Your mother failed.
Not your mother, am I?
Well, prove it.
Time I went.
Tomorrow morning in the park.
What's wrong with tonight?
I'm working.
Okay, tomorrow morning. We can work off some of our aggression. Excuse me.
Hold it. Right, what's your name?
Right, cut it out!
Vicious little ferret, aren't you?
Ah, there you are.
Afternoon, Sarge.
Inspector's asking for you.
Never gives up, does she?
Hang on there a minute.
Brian?
Ma'am, I've decided. I'm going to apply for permission to appear on the promotions board.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. Brian, your assistance is needed. Young Simon Bailey says he won't talk to anyone but you.
Why did you write your name up on the wall, Simon? Was that it? A kind of signature?
Just to see my name. Look at it there.
Why was that important?
It's my name.
Well, why didn't you write it up when you did over the shopping precinct?
I tried, but
And what about the school? And that was your old form classroom you broke into, wasn't it? You never managed to finish writing your name on the blackboard. Why was that?
Got fed up.
There's something you can't stand about school and learning, isn't there? Write it for me. On there. Write your name. Simon. Go on. Put Simon. You can't write, can you? A lot of people have difficulties. No cause for shame.
Not worth much if you can't write. Not even your own name.
What about your reading? Can you read? It must have been the same all through your schooling, Simon. It never seemed to bother you like this before. Is it because you can't get a job?
Wanted to read about football in the papers like others do. On the back page where they print things about the matches. I've seen lads my age reading the papers. I just wanted to be able to.
Why didn't you get someone to read it out for you?
It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
So, you took to daubing and wrecking. You broke into your old school, I can understand that, but why pick on the shopping precinct? And that old building site? I mean, was there any particular reason or just random?
Ugly. Ugly places.
You don't like the look of them, modern buildings?
Can't breathe near them.
Simon, do you want to make a statement? You don't have to. But if you want to tell us what happened in your own words, somebody will write it down.
Then won't you want to hear about the farm?
What farm, Simon?
I broke into the farm by the moors.
You mean Ryman's? Ryman's factory farm?
Stinks of death, that place.
Did you take a spade?
That's why I went there, looking for a spade.
What did you want that for?
There was a dead sheep on the moor road. Couldn't be left like that.
What did you do with the spade after?
Left it up on the moors.
What were you doing on the moors, Simon?
I go there sometimes.
You like the moors?
They scare me a bit.
Why do they scare you?
There's something there. Just a feeling.
What's up there, Simon? Why'd you go there?
I don't know. They draw me somehow. Like something pulling at me. What will happen to me now?
Well, you'll be charged with criminal damage and burglary. Your case will come up before the magistrates in 2 or 3 weeks. In the meantime, you'll be bailed.
Does that mean I can go away now?
When the paperwork's done, CID will want to talk
I've
to you.
said everything.
Simon, you'll have to stay here a little longer. If you like, we'll contact your parents, tell them what's happened. They might want to come down here.
I don't want them here. Keep them out.
They should be told, Simon. Your father's already come to us. You might want to hear about
I won't have him here. Leave him out of it.
Calm down, Simon.
Why don't you all just leave me alone?
I see he's signed a statement with an ex, poor lad. What a turmoil he's in. First offender. Obviously in an unsettled state. Probably get probation. Maybe that'll help sort him.
There's something not right about this, Mum. There's more to it.
How do you mean?
It's too simple. I don't believe it. A kid that can't read or write gets up to all this mischief just because of that. Doesn't add up.
You think he's lying?
Not lying. I don't think he even knows what this is about.
You're not making sense, Brian.
What is this hold the Moors have over him? Why did he break into the farm?
He said why.
He's running from something. Trying to find something.
Why aren't there any windows in here?
You what?
I want to stretch my legs.
Sit down, we won't be long.
Why can't I just walk around for a bit?
Look, will you just...
What on earth was that? Brian. George, what happened?
Well, we've got a slight problem, Mum. I'm sure we can sort it out.
Explanations, please.
Bailey's escaped, Mum.
How did it happen?
He was just so fast, Mum. I couldn't stop him.
You realise that if this lad isn't caught in a very short time, you will automatically be subject to formal disciplinary procedure for neglect of duty.
Yes, Mum.
Wait outside, Constable. I'll speak to you later.
Mum?
I don't want a word of this breathed outside the station, George. I want to keep this between ourselves for as long as we can.
Might be trouble if we don't report it.
I'm prepared to take that risk. I want to avoid young Sparks being hauled in front of the Chief Constable.
Well, we'll have to circulate a message to headquarters within a couple of hours.
Right. Let's make sure we catch Bailey before then. Everyone in for briefing. CID as well. I want every officer in the station out looking for that lad.
And there was no time to get her to the hospital, see, so Shaddy's in the bedroom upstairs.
Well, I'm glad things went so well for you, Mr. Bailey. How did Simon react?
Oh, he doesn't know yet. He's not been here.
Oh. You've not seen him yet?
What's going on? What's happened to him? He's gone to find my father. His grandfather.
Simon believes his grandfather to be dead, Mr. Bailey.
I told him he was dead. But he may still be alive. I've not seen him for 17 years. We were travellers. Simon was born in a gypsy caravan out on the moors. Near Toniton, there's a site used by gypsy folk. Near Craigmore End. Simon spent his first months there.
It's not a permanent site, though, is it?
Well, folk used to travel over. Stop a month or two. We came once a year. The owners were friendly.
But, Mr. Bailey, how is it possible for you to know that your father's there? At Craigmore End, right at this minute?
Time of the year. We travel this part of the country come autumn.
Why did you not speak of this when you came to see me?
Well, the same reason I didn't tell Simon. I didn't want him to know. I wouldn't have Simon growing up on gypsy camps. Always on the road, nowhere to go, that way of life. I planned we'd become an ordinary family. We were called O'Shea We changed our name by deed poll. See, we were frightened people would find out about us. Scared what people would think knowing we were gypsies. That's why we waited so long before we had another kid.
Can we be sure that you're right about where Simon's gone? I mean, he might have just run off anywhere.
Simon took a watch. Gold watch. My father gave it to me as a keepsake when we left. Simon knew it was his grandfather's. He's taken it to him. Look, I must go to my wife now.
Mr. Bailey? Why should this happen now, at this time? I mean, why hasn't Simon gone off like this before in all the years you've been living here?
I don't know that. I just don't know. Look, my wife will want me with her.
Can we rely upon what he says? Can we risk pulling all our men out to Toniton on something that vague?
With respect, Ma'am, I don't believe we should send in a lot of uniforms after the lad. He'll run at the first sight. He knows those moors. Could take days to find him.
No, Simon. No more running.
Get off!
It's your grandfather down there. Your daddy didn't tell you the whole truth. There's a lot he didn't tell you. Don't blame him. He thought he was doing for the best. He's dying, Simon. He's going fast. Maybe that's what brought you here. You caught something of it. Felt it.
Why is he lying outside on the ground?
He wanted to see the sky. Go on, Simon. Take in the watch.
You were born here. You can always come back to them later.
No. It's all over.
There's some news for you. You got a baby sister.
Have I?
Come on. Time to go back now.
burning smell.
Burning, you mind? It's a traditional dish. Called fried eggs stuck to the bottom of the pan.
Can you eat it?
I take it you prefer cereal, dear.
After shift. What time do you train?
11:15.
Now go easy with your dad. No rows, no problems.
No way.
Just give him a lot of love. Half of it from me. And don't feel you have to hurry back.
Well, first you criticise my cookie, then you say you don't want me back. It's a great start to the day, isn't it? How are you, Dad?
Trouble.
How is she?
She's very ill.
Go to the hospital then, eh?
I've just come from it. I'm on my way home.
Well, there's a taxi.
I can walk.
We'll take a taxi, Dad.
Well, if you've got money to burn.
You look tired, Dad.
Well, I've been up with her 4 nights. You want a beer?
Fancy a cup of tea, actually.
Well, you can make that. I'll just have a couple of beers and then I'll lay down for a bit.
Then we'll go to the hospital. We'll go to the hospital after you've had a nap, eh?
Tell me, Summit. Why did you really come?
What do you mean? Of course I come.
The visits you've paid us, I can count on my 2 hands.
Now, we've been through all that before.
Maybe to your satisfaction, not to mine.
Now, don't be like that, Dad. I wanted to come.
You've never shown that much interest in your stepmother?
Look, it's just that... Well, it took me a long time to get used to the idea that when my mum died, you remarried a touch too fast.
No. Or remarried a touch too low.
Oh, well, no, that's not true either. You know it. Look, I may be 100 rotten things, but I'm not a snob.
Well, Mary always... She's dying, Tom. You're her stepmother. And I'm not at all sure I want you here.
Well, I'd like to stay. But, sleep on it. Hmm? And if you want me to, I'll go.
Massive cerebral hemorrhage.
Was my father there when it happened?
Yes, he was. Of course, you're not supposed to move the patient. He did. Now, he knows he shouldn't have moved her, and that's upset him a bit. Oh, we're doing all we can. We must just wait for nature to take its course. We can't predict when she'll come round. But it doesn't look too good, Tom.
Can I...
Excuse me.
Can I start my dad? Is he physically okay?
Oh, yes, yes. Of all our merry band of volunteers, nobody puts in more hours than he does. A year ago, we had a house father and mother who were both injured in the car crash. It's hell's own job finding replacements. But your dad insisted on stepping in helping to look after 11 children for a month, driving, cooking, doing everything for them. I didn't know about that. Oh, it knocked him out a bit afterwards, not unnaturally, but normally he's got the constitution of a horse.
I didn't even know he could cook.
Oh, yes. He can do anything when he sets his mind to it. No, it's never his physical fitness I'm worried about. It's more his psychological state.
And what's that?
Well, it's hard to explain, but somehow, you know, he's a deeply unhappy man. Now, there are people like him. Mary gives him the home life and apparent security, but he's the sort who'll never be content, who never feels that he's really got to grips with his life. Feels that he's never achieved enough.
And what happens if Mary dies?
I don't know. Maybe the rugged individualist will come unstuck. I'll tell you something, though. Your father has given his all to this hospital. And if Mary goes, I just want to say, you'll never be short of friends here.
And send this report to HQ marked for the attention of Mr. Hallam.
Right, ma'am.
Oh, and I've had confirmation that Renshaw can go on the driving course. So would you like to tell him the good news?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Gallagher's back from his walking tour today, isn't he?
If you call a 24-hour stroll on the moors a tour, ma'am, yes.
Actually, I'm a bit concerned about him. Twice when I talked to him last week, I sensed... he seems a bit distrayed, does young Davy. Any idea why?
No, ma'am.
Not holding back on me, are you, Sergeant?
No, ma'am.
Do you still think he's a good copper?
He's a reasonable lad, basically sound.
I think so.
He's a bit loud, you know. That's the Scots background. A bit quick with an opinion, a bit off on the humour, like. But we think well enough of him.
You, George, and the others in this station know more gossip than the CIA. You must know the form on Gallagher.
Well, now you mention it, he did say something to one of the lads some thought he'd had about a transfer.
Transfer? But he's hardly just arrived from Strathclyde.
Yes, ma'am.
Get your ear to the ground, Joseph, see what you can find out. Oh, and when Gallagher comes in, ask him to see me.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, lad?
OK, Gerald.
Still living off the immoral earnings of the police?
Aye, something like that.
It's been a long time, Tom. Country's in a worse bloody state than when we last met. You got anything to do with that?
No, Gerald.
Well, I wouldn't give you a fiver for the whole of the United Kingdom. Well, it's back to my penthouse. So do you feel like a walk, a talk, and hit the pubs at appropriate hour?
Well, I could do with a bite to eat.
Sandwich or something more substantial?
I'm eating since breakfast.
Then it's Britley's answer to the Savoy drill. Come on, lad.
Gerald?
Hello.
Sir, would you care to order, please?
Well, for me, chicken korma, please.
With chips or rice?
Oh, with rice.
Come on, Tom. Being a snob, I bet you want it with chips.
No, I don't. I want it with rice.
Half a tandoori chicken. With chips.
Any vegetable?
Not for me, thanks, no.
Yes, please. Dal, bindi, and a couple of naan.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald.
Oh. Yes, you're right. We wouldn't have preferred chips. We haven't ordered any drink.
Yeah, we don't have to. He knows we're only here for the beer. How long are you down for?
A couple of days. Just depends how it goes with Mary.
How is your stepmother?
Not good.
How's your dad taking?
He's very upset.
You know, I see quite a lot of him.
Yeah?
Twice a week, chess club, St. Thomas's Old People's Home. He organises it. And I get threatening phone calls from him if I don't turn up.
Dr. Maidment was saying he's very useful at the hospital.
Well, he may be very charitably disposed towards the hospital, but when he's talking about you...
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
Did you never get on, even as a child?
I don't know. No, we didn't, no. No, it's as if he'd built a very solid wall between us. All my life I've thought, well, one day he'll take it down. I'll give him time, but... seems to be putting up more stones, making it stronger.
Rather a complex simile?
No, it's not a simile, it's the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Cheers. Well, good health.
Sup up, lad.
My God, that's a nice drop of stuff, isn't it?
I told her so. So, how's the work?
Well, you know what I'm doing?
Oh, your dad's always on about you and the social services.
And what does he say about you?
Don't you know?
Not really.
Well, all sorts of things.
Well, come on, give us an example.
You two really don't communicate, do you?
Come on, what does he say about me, Joe?
Well, he feels the same way as I do, Tom, about what you've done with your life. By the way, this is my treat to social workers and less than teachers, I believe.
What do you mean he feels the same way as you do?
Oh, later, Tom, when we've eaten and I've drunk enough Dutch courage, eh?
Come in. Oh, David, sit down, please. I'd like to talk with you. You still happy here?
Yes, Mum.
Sure.
Yeah?
There seems to be an opinion in general circulation that recently your mind's not on the job.
But it is, Mum.
It's not what I hear, David. Is there anything troubling you here? Any problems with the other men?
No, Mum.
Is it a problem at home?
No, Mum.
Trouble with a girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend, Mum.
I'll ask you again. Sergeants Beck and Parrish would likely have noticed any problems here. So, is it a problem at home?
No, Mum. Yes, Mum.
Now, come on, David. If there's some worry you're bringing in here from home that's taking your mind off your work, I must know what it is. So what is it?
Well, it's my stepfather, Mum.
Yes?
Well, you know what? I transferred here because my mother remarried Harry Bentham in Hartley. Well, I'm not getting on with my stepfather. That's putting it mildly. We've big rows all the time. And my mother keeps taking his side in the arguments. Well, I only came here because she came here. And, well, I'm thinking of asking for another transfer. I thought maybe I could go back to Glasgow.
A transfer? You've only just got here. Who told you you could bounce around from one police force to another like a yo-yo?
No one, Mum.
Now, come on, David, let's have it. What's been going on?
Well, for a start, my mother's unhappy.
How's that?
Well, since they married, he behaves different. His meals have got to be in time, he's tight with money, and even he goes out with his mates.
Well, that's like a lot of men, David, and a lot of marriages. What about these rows between you and him? What are they about?
I don't know. Well, sometimes they're about nothing.
You all live together, right?
Yeah. Well, some regular. Well, he just comes in and takes right against me. Before I know where it is, it's a shouting match.
Have you asked what's upsetting him?
I can't talk to him. It's impossible.
All right. Thank you for telling me. But you can't run around getting transferred from one place to another.
If I can't have this sorted out, I may have to leave the force altogether, Mum.
Oh, come on. That's a bit extreme.
I don't know if it is. Sorry to bother you with my family problems.
Oh, don't worry yourself on that score. Everybody's got family problems. I've had them. My husband's got them at the moment. But you're too good a copper to lose because of some domestic trouble. We'll talk again later.
Thank you.
Can't remember my father being right about anything. Anything in his life to do with me. Why do you think he got it right?
But he agrees with me.
And why does he agree with you?
Now, look, Tom. You had me for years as a schoolmaster. You must have had enough of my opinions.
No.
When did I first teach you?
Form 2. Taught me history, then maths.
I remember you hated school.
Oh, no, when you were teaching.
You were a star pupil, and you hated school. Everything was so easy for you and so hard for everyone else. You sailed through everything. A 13-year-old with a guilt complex because everything was so easy.
Guilt? I wouldn't have known what it was at 13, would I?
So everything was easy. But you couldn't get it to add up.
Add up to what?
Add up to life, Tom. With your talents, you could have done anything.
Oh, come on, Gerald, get off.
Really? You should have gone to university and been something.
What do you mean, been something?
Tom, you're fooling around at the butt end of society with people who can't get it to work. You had a first-class mind. I put a lot of effort into you. You've forgotten.
No, I haven't. I haven't forgotten.
Once in every 5 years or so, you get a star pupil. I gave you extra lessons, extra attention, extra encouragement, extra help. For what? When I was a lad, I was a star pupil. And I wasted my opportunities, exactly like you've wasted yours. And that angers me, because I should have stopped you doing it.
Hello?
Hello, sweetheart. How are things?
Fine, thanks. How's Mary?
Still unconscious. The doctor says it's still touch and go.
What about your dad? And how are you?
Thoughtful. The natives haven't been too friendly.
Thoughtful about what?
Ah, Jean, I've got to make my mind up about this course in Dover. I've got to make the decision while I'm up here.
Okay.
I mean, it's really down to what the hell I'm going to do with my life, Britley's where it all started for me.
Okay. Well, you know, whatever you decide, I'll go along with it.
Ah, but whatever I decide... My dad's just come in. I better ring off, love. No, I don't think that's a good idea. He's not in the mood for talking to anybody. But I'll phone you tomorrow. God bless. How is she, Dad?
Well, the doctor seems a bit more confident.
Good.
Certainly her colour's better. He might be coming round, but he says not to get too excited about it.
Do you want a drink? Cup of tea?
No, no, Tom.
You want to talk?
No. Now she's shown an improvement, I think I might be able to get a good night's rest. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, good night, Dad.
Oh, by the way, I met your old girlfriend, Nikki...
Taylor?
Aye. Pleased to hear you're in town. Says she might give you a ring in the morning.
Oh, dear. Hello?
Tom?
Yes?
Nicky?
Hello?
How are you?
All right?
Doing anything for lunch?
No?
Could we meet?
Now look, Nikki, I don't know if...
You don't know what?
Well, I'm up here to see my dad, actually, not really to socialise.
Socialise? I only want to get a look at you.
Look, I'm a happily married man, Nikki.
It doesn't sound like you, Tom Darby, hiding behind a woman's skirts.
All right, well, I'll meet you the Three Horseshoes, all right?
Right, say 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Nicky.
Hello, Tom.
What would you like to drink?
A gin and tonic, please.
A gin and tonic. Thank you. Oh. Oh, you're looking good.
It's years since I've last seen you. You've aged.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, you've always had craggy good looks, but I think you're taking it a stage too far. More crags, less looks.
Once again. How much is that?
65 pence, please.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
Well, we should sit down.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a long time, Tom.
So what have you been up to?
What, your dad's never told you?
No.
He's never mentioned me.
No?
Well, I see him around, I talk to him.
Well, he's never said.
Well, I got married and I got divorced, almost in the same breath. I'm living with an old mate of yours, George Beale. He's got his own garage now.
Georgie Beale? Hey, how is he?
First, ask how I am.
All right.
I still miss you. Still in love with you. I sometimes wonder how on earth I let you out of my clutches. To marry a policewoman? I mean, if it wasn't so tragic, it'd be a laugh. Apart from that, I'm okay.
Good.
This morning on the telephone, I got the impression you didn't want to see me. Why?
Well, you know how it is. I mean, Hartley's only 70 miles from here. Somebody walks into this nice little cosy pub and sees us and, well, somehow word gets back to Jean, doesn't it?
I just don't see it. Tom Darby, completely under a woman's thumb. What a shame.
No, not under the thumb. I just care very much about my wife and her feelings. Not so insensitive to know that feelings can be hurt very easily.
Good for you. There aren't many champions of marital propriety around these days. She's a lucky girl.
So why did you want to see me then?
Oh, chat, talk, gossip. You know, we haven't completely forgotten your existence, Tom. Quite a few folk around here still remember you.
But what do you really want, Nicky?
Well, I always felt you left in rather a hurry. Not an indecent hurry, but, well, I never really got the chance to talk things over with you before you were gone. I suppose I've been thinking about what I would have said over these years.
Oh, go on.
No, it's nothing, really. Though I do blame you sometimes.
Blame me for what?
For why I got married. Well, it was on the rebound from you. And I can blame you for getting divorced. Because him and me, well, we were never going to be like us. You know and I know. It would have worked. Us married.
I don't know.
So, you've ended up in the back end of nowhere, married to a uniform. Hartley? Wasn't it supposed to be New York or Paris?
No, it wasn't. I never said anything about New York or Paris in my life.
I want to give you something. I came across them the other day. You know I kept every letter anybody ever wrote me. Well, here's a few you wrote when you left Britley. They're all about you, your ambitions, what they were, what you wanted to be. They make interesting reading.
How is she? Oh, progress, we think. She came round, she spoke a little. Fingers crossed time. Afraid I can't be more specific. But it's always in the lap of the gods. Now, Tom, I'm a bit concerned about your father.
Me too.
I gave him some pills, like tranquilizers, but he says he won't take them. Perhaps you can put a bit of pressure on him, eh?
Right. How is it done?
Oh, she said a few words. I told her you were here. She seemed pleased. Got a bit of colour, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, don't feel you have to hang around.
The doctor says you ought to take a pill and get some relaxation.
Oh, well, that's just them, ain't it? Doctors, pill for this, pill for that. I don't need that pills.
Yeah, well, I can sit with it, you know.
No. No, it's my job to be here with her. Take no umbrage, I prefer to do it alone.
Right, well, I'll go back to the house then.
Oh, Jared called by. He left a message. He said to tell you to see you on the bridge about 4:15.
Oh, yeah. I'll see you later.
Thanks for coming. Just wanted to chat.
Well, it's a bit early for pubs. Do you feel like a breath of air?
Tall Lake.
Sure Lake it is.
You know, I used to fish here. Cycle up every weekend. Get away from the house for a bit. Fish and fantasize. I was going to be the greatest racing driver in the world. Mike Hawthorne, eat your heart out. It's amazing how long that fantasy lasted. I was 16 or 17.
Oh, aye.
I was resisting your advice even then. You were preaching, get your O levels, get your A levels. I'd be thinking quietly, what's the point? Next stop, Spa, Le Mans. I've always had this quiet little voice inside me, always resisting advice. Bloody nuisance. I'm actually looking for advice, it's still there, chuntering away. Dad called me and told me Mary was ill. One of the first things I thought was, well, when I get up there, at least I'll be able to see you.
Oh, aye.
You're the biggest influence in my life, Gerald. There was one thing I really wanted to talk to you about.
Always ready to listen, Tom.
Well, I'm coming up 40. 12 months' experience as a social worker behind me, but I'm not qualified. I've got a chance to go to college in Dover for 2 years, get my certificate of qualification in social work, CQSW.
Yes?
Dover's 300 miles from Hartley. I'll be away from Jean for long periods. 300 miles is a bit far for a trip home at the weekend.
So?
I don't trust my capacity to make decisions anymore. In the past, I always made decisions, well, right or wrong. I approached them rationally. Now, reason says a future as a professional in the social services is crazy. Instinct says take it, go to Dover, get qualified. I don't know how to analyse that instinct. Don't know if I can trust it.
You really want my advice?
Yes.
The fact that you're talking about this in an emotional way says you're further along the road
with your decision than just an instinct to do it. You're looking for you're looking for something more than just a qualification. You're looking for an answer to what is so far a highly disorganized existence.
Maybe.
More than maybe. And you're only halfway there when you make your decision. The rest is down to the single-mindedness to see it through. And on the basis of your track record so far, Tom, that's going to be your bigger problem.
Mr. Bentham?
Aye?
Inspector Darby.
But I can't break off work. We've got a big exports order on, which is bloody rare enough. I've got to check this stuff for cutting room.
Please go ahead.
On phone, you said it was David you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So, what's on your mind?
We think very highly of David.
Oh, aye.
We think he has potential. He's good at his work. Or rather, was good at his work. Lately, something's happened, and he seems very preoccupied.
Any of this to do with me?
He's told me things aren't happy at home.
Oh, came gossiping to you about my home, did he?
You may not think I have a right to ask David questions about his home life, Mr. Bentham, but if his work is suffering as a result of some domestic crisis, then I must. Your stepson's told me they've been rows at home.
Has he?
He says he doesn't really understand what they're about, and he didn't think he'd be able to get to the bottom of them. I'm asking you if I can help.
There's nothing to be done, miss. I feel an outsider in my own home.
Could you explain what you mean by that, Mr. Bentham?
Are you interested in my point of view?
Yes.
I met and courted Mary Gallagher in Glasgow, a widow of 10 years' standing. And when I married her, I didn't realise that mother and son were inseparable. That where she went, he went. Do you understand that?
I know that David's father died when he was young. All his life he must have been very close to his mother.
It's all right when he's on shift. When he's home for the evening, I come home after a full day's work, and I want a quiet night with the wife. And the table's laid for 3, and he's sitting in front of my TV set. And him and his mother have already worked out what channels are to be watched that night. I feel an interloper, so I go out for a drink with my mates.
I sympathise with you, Mr. Bentham.
You do?
You've got a point. I think we shall both have to talk to David.
Hello?
Tom? Eric Maitland here.
Oh, hello, Doctor.
I've been trying to get hold of you. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Your stepmother passed away half an hour ago.
There was nothing we could do. I'm very sorry.
Is my father there?
Yes.
Well, I'll be along right away, Doctor.
So sorry, Dan.
George. They'll want to take her away.
Oh, I'll be with her as long as I can. She opened her eyes, you know, I thought. And she just went.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Look, I don't want him getting morbid sitting there all day. I'll tell him he must go and have a cup of tea with you in the tea bar.
Yes, I know it is.
Well, you might fancy a cup of tea, Dad.
Oh, well.
Can I get you a beer, Dad?
I've got to make the funeral arrangements. See Mr. Evans?
Now, look, I can do all that for you, Dad.
No, I do that for Mary. Not a stranger.
Oh. Oh, that's it. I'm a stranger.
Well, aren't you?
Look, I think I've had about enough of this, Dad. I mean, it may not be the most appropriate time to have this out, but... Well, I can't find any moment when the barriers are down and we can communicate.
What do you want? I mean, you've already worked it out. I'm worth a Christmas card and a phone call on my birthday to check that I'm alive. I want an out from you. What do you want from me? You go your own way, whatever that may be. You know, I don't even know who the hell you are anymore.
Do you ever know, Dad?
All I do know is you didn't make much of your life. Fine brain, fine start in life, leading to note.
Now, can we just get this thing settled now, once for all? Now, come on, just once and for all. I'm going to say it, Dad. Well, ever since my mum died, you seem to have had it in for me. I've tried, God knows I've tried to get you to show some signs that you, well, just have any feeling for me. Everybody in Brittany says what a great bloke you are. Generous and thoughtful for others, but you've never shown it to me.
You're a hard judge.
I'm sorry, Dad, no. No. Well, that's my problem. I'm a weak judge. Well, you say I've got this great intelligence. Have I? Well, Nicky Taylor gave me back some letters that I wrote years ago. They've all been wrong. I'm not a brilliant high hopes future captain of industry. I was an idiot. The only thing I wanted in life was a brand new Jaguar car.
Well, you certainly didn't get that.
No, I didn't. I bloody didn't, no. No, I'll tell you what I did get, though. I'll tell you how I used my intelligence. I used it to work out what I don't need, what I don't want. I don't want money, I don't want possessions, I don't want public approval. I think this society is so rotten, only a fool would spend a lifetime trying to make it, getting on. Well, I reject it. I'm after basic values. I love my wife. We try to make each other happy. This trip home has been very important to me, Dad. I always used to think I wasn't committed enough in my life, but talking to you and Gerald and Nicky, I realise I've made quite a bit of progress down the years. I'm very sorry about Mary. I just hope that one day there'll be some miracle and just get to understand each other just a bit better, Dad.
Come in.
You wanted to see me, Mum?
Oh, yes, David. Come in, sit down. I had a chat with your stepfather yesterday, over at the mill.
Did you, Mum?
I try not to be an interfering busybody, David. When there's something affecting your work here, I must look into it. Understood?
Yes, Mum.
Your stepfather says that when he comes home in an evening, your mother's laid the table for 3, you and she have decided the night's telly, he feels an outsider in his own home.
But it's my mother that wants all these things. She asked me to come down here. She insists on cooking for me, and she wants to watch telly with me.
Then I think you're going to have to be a bit more forceful, David, and make certain things clear to her. It's time to cut the apron strings and become independent. And she's got to learn not to be so dependent on you. You're neither of you being fair to this poor man. You've both of you got to give him a chance. All right?
Yeah.
Now, are you short of money, David?
No.
Well, why not start looking for a flat of your own? Make your own life. It's not an order, just forceful advice. All right?
Yes, Mum.
That's it, off you go.
Thank you.
Oh, and David, practice your dance steps, go out and get a girlfriend, and enjoy life. And that is an order.
Thank you, Mum.
Have we got any garden shears, Dad?
In tool shed.
Right.
What do you want them for?
Well, it's no criticism of you, but, well, my mum's grave is a bit untidy. I thought I'd just clean it up a bit. All right.
Tom?
Yes, Dad?
Don't matter.
Right, well, I'll be about an hour, eh?
Good grief.
I've caught you at it.
You're here? How?
I'm going back on Wednesday for the funeral.
Is it right to leave you, Dad?
Yeah, it's all right. Seriously, friends are better for him than me.
Didn't work out.
No.
Depressed?
Bit. Well, at least I made up my mind about Dover. Going to apply for the job.
I'm glad. We'll make it work. We'll do it.
Sure?
Yes. Now, how about something to eat?
What have we got?
Not here, out. I'll get changed. I can be ready in 10 minutes. You get yourself unpacked.
Yes, yeah.
Come on, cheer up. Dover's the biggest decision you're going to make this decade. Let's be happy about it.
You're on.